What's going on, guys? Samuel1 Robert here, back with another video for you all today. And again, it's going to be some probably main videos I'm going to do on Big Brother because I do love talking about. You know, I do love about Survivor, but I also love talking about Big Brother as well. And I think I want to do this video. So, like, I'm not sure what exactly Big Brother content I'm going to post. I'm not sure it's going to be much as the Survivor ones to do, honestly. Like, me and my mom might do a similar series where basically I talk about my favorite weeks or whatever, but we'll see how it goes. But I think I do at least a few of them. And the first one I'm talking about is talking about frustrating gameplay moments. And these definitely happen a lot, but where is you like so obvious that someone shouldn't be making these moves or something ends up happening. And yeah, while bad gameplay is kind of one of the reasons why we do enjoy watching these shows and why we always go back to the shows to see how bad someone can actually play. And it does make very entertaining TV. And some of the moments I might talk about from these and possibly future points do make very entertaining TV. But it can still be entertaining, but also it can also be really frustrating because it's like it's either so obvious that he should be making this move, or it's clear as day that he should do this or that, but it just doesn't happen. And throughout the time Big Brother, it does happen a lot. Or it's like whether it be like them like nominating someone they should nominate, or they talking out like they shouldn't nominate at all, or something, or making a move that's just so obvious and so clear that they should do. So that's what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about five most big, hugely frustrating moments in gameplay and Big Brother. Just go, what were you thinking? And again, I have enough of the show, so I hope you'll enjoy this video. Let me know any other frustrating gameplay moments you down my comment section, and I might make a part two. I might try and make this series I'm playing doing this, I think, with Survivor at some point as well. I think it'd be fun to talk about gameplay moments that was just like, mm, so I hope you'll enjoy those. Again, let me know any frustrating gameplay moments down in the comment section. So let's get into what I think are five of some of the most frustrating gameplay moments in all of Big Brother. And now when looking into some push one, there's I'm talking about the one that actually just popped in my mind first. Honestly, when talking about gameplay moments, and that is Mackenzie nominating Leah at the final episode of BB26. Now, Jennifer told that I can fill part one with just moments in Jennifer from BB26 26. Well, I do think those scenes are, in my opinion, incredible and are like top 10 best seasons, in my opinion, overall. That feels the most real. It doesn't. If your ranking season comes to gameplay, they're looking good to me at the bottom because, yeah, there are a lot of terrible gameplay for this season. And it's still entertaining, obviously, but that moments where you're like, do this, you can do this and do that, and you'll be okay, or it's obvious you shouldn't be waiting this long, it's obvious you shouldn't be this passive and all that stuff. Like there are so many frustrating moments throughout both seasons. So don't be surprised you expect to see a lot of these parts in these future entries. But close to one I'd go to was basically Mackenzie nominating Leah at the final set because it's very obvious that Mackenzie shouldn't do that, especially at this moment. Basically, Lily sunk her game. Honestly, I do let Mackenzie probably more than most people, it seems like, but I can agree in terms of gameplay, she's probably one of the worst when it comes to people that made it to the final two. Was because she's never had a great social game. She was almost on the bottom. Hell, she didn't win that fucking. Hell, and she didn't win the blockbusters in week 4 and 6. She wouldn't have been gone. Probably even her allies wouldn't have got rid of her. Never. Never. But also that she always did have Leah on her side, even if she wasn't on the right side. She always did have Leah on her side. She's always had her a close ally. They were like super close for a season, even if late in the season they weren't exactly on the right side. They were still very close and were never going to target each other. But so but Chelsea, I'll say Chelsea is definitely not the frustrating. It's not the frustrating because as much as Chelsea's not the most likable person in the world, she is an incredible. She has some incredible gameplay moments, and this is one of them. I think if I do some more impressive gameplay moments, Chelsea actually convincing Mackenzie to do so is impressive. But it's the fact that Mackenzie actually fell for it, and then that's the frustrating aspect. So again, Leah is basically her closest ally. Uh, Again, she basically nominated like Gmail and Angela. I mean, her intention was right, so honestly, we're just talking Angela, who was also one of her allies. So we didn't really saw the best line in that aspect, but after she won the veto, and this probably could be the first time veto was not used this season. She actually threw off freaking Chemo, so when she wasn't aligned with at all, and decided to nominate Leah against Angela. And again, this pretty much sunk her game. Yeah, there's no one's going for her. Even if she made the end like Cam or anyone else on stage, she wasn't going to win at all. And it's like, it's obvious they shouldn't have made this move, Mackenzie. Hopefully, if we do see Mackenzie come back, because her face, I'm pretty sure we might see Mackenzie back at some point down the road. She actually thinks a lot better than this. And this is, now, like I mentioned before, basically I could have made this entire first part of full of moments of Beaver 2027 because 20 to 27 had so many moments that was just frustrating on a gameplay front, whereas like it's obvious they should be making this move, obvious they should be doing this, or they make moves that are just like, what in the hell? And for me, and this is actually it's not like a singular mode, honestly, so I might be cheating a little bit, but this is basically just I'm basically talking about all the self nominations in 26, 27. And it says this is like the only big one, the only big negatives I have with the actual blockbuster twist, the actual arena blockbuster twist, because well, it definitely is an exciting aspect, honestly, and definitely has a fun aspect to it. I mean, for some exciting moments that happen throughout the season, I mean, that's kind of what the eviction of Joseph eviction in 26, that basically Kima actually saved themselves with the eviction speech. And of course, to also the iconic Riley eviction in week 6, which is probably a top 10 eviction of all time, top 5 also. That's a lot of these times, well, there are a lot of weeks where people just decide to, for the hell of it, just to volunteer to be nominated. And while that's definitely not a new thing, honestly, also we have seen people volunteer to be nominated before, but I feel like we see that super often, especially with Tucker. That was kind of the main thing, deciding to volunteer to be on the block for all week when if he didn't want Blockbuster, he would have been a goner. That's kind of what happened to him. But some of the worst is when Kelly said that volunteer was nominated for the first 3 weeks. I think week 1 she kind of went back on honestly, but Vince still did Eric, so he had no choice. Again, also could put a lot more from Vince on this list, but I think I'll say that for another part. But I think the frustrating thing with the self nominations as well, this definitely not a new thing. Obviously, we've seen a lot of people do that a lot, Big Brother. Like, I feel like with the last 2 seasons, though, we've seen that happen extremely often, and it's to really get in favor with the HOH. In reality, that just puts you at the bottom of the total poll and makes them think you're just a weak person and a pawn and someone that easy to put up obviously randomly a lot of times or doesn't really get much power. Like it doesn't put you in good favor with anyone at all, which it's kind of weird that people always think that. Yeah. Unfortunately, it happens like very often throughout like most of 26 and 27 people just decide to volunteer. And honestly, I really do not want this to become a common thing, but as much as it is exciting in 2027, as much between 27 obviously the arena aspect is very exciting. Obviously, I don't want it this like whole like self nomination thing that people volunteer to be nominated to basically be a regular thing on it because it can make for some really frustrating moments and and it can really not it never really makes for the most exciting TV. Honestly, it doesn't really do any like interesting aspects when it comes to gameplay or entertainment fronts. Avoiding a season where basically just so many people do it, honestly, or someone just nominate every week or something. And like I said, it doesn't make for the most exciting TV when people decide to just volunteer to be nominated. And again, it doesn't put you in a bad position situation you think it is. And now we get to the third one, but therefore we're actually not talking about 26, 27, we're talking about, but now we're talking about 25. We're going to talk about Nicole or Mimi's passiveness throughout her entire run of Big Brother 25. Again, sometimes passiveness can really also be a frustrating element of Big Brother what I mean is that it's basically where it's kind of obvious that you should be doing something or you should be like going alliances or you should be doing this or that, but it's pretty obvious. But you just like not to think it's actually a great strategy to be just very passive and just that way you want to be a target. And in reality, that's kind of the opposite, honestly, and that's kind of what happened to Nicole, obviously, where that's this pretty much ended up being her downfall when she got nominated when really Felicia was going to be the target, but not just about the Corey side, just big deal of help. But I mean, we didn't really have any true allies in that season. Like, I remember she go on these like storage room rants where things couldn't go her way or when things didn't go in the right direction for her, but I was like, you could have done something. I guess Fireball is also nice. He has a lot of frustrating gameplay moments. Obviously, so expect a lot of those from these videos, but I'm not going to spend too much on this one, obviously, because it's really just Nicole being just super passive and not really do much anything, not really aligning anybody. They get like a incredible strategy, and it's not. And now we get to also another season that has a lot of fresh moments. But another season that's one of my favorites. Big Brother 20 is also a season that has a lot of known frustrating gameplay moments. But the one I'm talking about is actually not. But the one I'm going to talk about here is Rockstar flopping on the OTEV veto in at the final 10. What's crazy is that Rockstar actually could actually won the competition actually. Like it was actually a bit of a competition that was like I don't remember who the one, but I know it was between like Rockstar and Tyler, and then Rockstar actually got the one first, obviously, and for some reason, I had to freaking tell Tyler the right answer. When in reality, if she did, she actually would have won the competition. And then the next round, she basically sees to end up getting the wrong answer, and Tyler ended up winning. Okay, so that one I'm not gonna put too much. I'm not honestly, but it's just really frustrating because obviously, oh my god, some of them might actually not win. Don't you? Rockstar winning the competition might actually, not have his HOH be a total failure. But unfortunately, end up not being in. It just leads to, like I said, it basically just leads to so many frustrating, leading to obviously more frustrating moments in the end game, which I don't really hate as much as most people do, but it definitely is like the weakest part of the actual season. I mean, probably why people kind of turn on the season was because of the whole thing. And I can honestly see that honestly, but you're right there, Rockstar. You're right there. You just had to say the answer to that one, you just had to not get the right answer. Like, you were right there. And for the last terrible HOH the terrible gameplay moment that we'll get into here, is definitely one that I will definitely put on the up echelon when it comes to like terrible gameplay. And this is basically just an entire HOH right now, honestly. It's just it's obvious that someone should actually play well, do well when it comes to beating HOH, yet it's like don't. And that's basically Jessica's whole entire week 4 HOH on paper 19. Again, I'm not gonna get too much into this because I'm pretty sure it's obvious why. Like, I feel like this is probably like the worst HOH rating of all time, and honestly for good reason because it's terrible. I mean, Jessica pretty much out like she basically won the HOH and she got her leverage as quarterback. Like, hey, she can finally get rid of us side of the house, obviously. So then she could basically on the bottom for the majority of the season. Like, she fight the last division. It's like, hey, she can finally have some power back on stage. She probably like get better at everything. But no, just you know why upset some people for some reason. You know, not me, Josh, which is an obvious thing because obviously Jessica and Josh were not exactly likable. They like each other, and they got into a lot of fights throughout the majority of the season. Decided to nominate and add someone that one and only allies that was willing to work with her and Cody, and that is Ramses. One of the only people that was willing to work with them. But she could have run on this considering the fact that she won the veto. I mean, she could have done something like Paul or Christmas. Listen, and maybe just finally get a job. But no! Yeah, not wanting to ruffle some feathers, she decided not to. I mean, she had the votes anyway. You know, you knew that Ramses is working with them, so yeah. Sorry, something like that, but yeah. Again, this is kind of why I really hard to like Jessica and Cody Armstrong. You know, I do want to like them throughout the season. I really want to root for them, but when they make stuff like this, like, and also I could also put like Cody's first HH on stuff. I think that's more hilarious than frustrating, though it does have its moments. I might include that in the future part in the future, but yeah, this is the reason why this is going to be like the worst HOH run of all time because Jessica had the opportunity to basically rectify her mistake, and she could have, but actually nominated some other people and could have gotten Josh out, but she decided not to, and I mean just got voted down. And basically she could have got fit in the next couple rounds. Yeah. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed me discussing like 5 of the most frustrating gameplay moments in Big Brother. Again, let me know what your thoughts on all these moments, and let me know what are the gameplay moments you think are like the most frustrating, the ones that are just really just like, oh my god, seriously, the ones that just really frustrate you. And we're talking about more the ones that more frustrate you, than the more obvious ones. That's obviously I could also include like Marcellus is not using the veto or Zach not using the power last season. I mean, they're the more obvious ones. I might include them in future parts, but I'll try not. But but let me know if any other more like frustrating gameplay moments that frustrate you, but and let me know if you guys want to see like a part 2 or part 3 at some point down the road. I actually did enjoy time on this, so I hope you all enjoy this overall. I am Cyril Wolf from Cyril Productions. I will say time as always, stay cool up out there, and I'm sprinkling positivity your way. Peace.